Right, for those that don't know about my 718 Cayman 2 litre completely basic car, or was, the Gtemu4, have a quick look at some of the social media blogs, because we've not really put a lot on YouTube about this, but one of the biggest videos that's been out is definitely the Driven Plus video, which has been done with Max and with Sam. And when racing driver Sam took this car out, he actually gave us some really good feedback. He wasn't a massive fan of it in some aspects. Obviously, there's a little bit of banter and kind of, I suppose, exaggerated things when it comes to videos to make the video look better as well, because he actually gave us some really good feedback after doing the track session off camera. And he said that the things this car was let down by was, one, it didn't have an LSD. One, it didn't have launch control, which made a big difference and would have given us probably another second on the actual track, which would have made a massive difference and actually made us faster than the other cars. Even though, if you do watch the video, you'll see that this pretty much within a microsecond, millisecond, whatever it is, like tiny part, it was as fast as Lamborghini Revuelto. And I think to say we've built this as mate, like, that's pretty damn impressive. But we could have done better. The biggest thing that we had issues with were the brakes. So we fitted our own brand of brakes. This has got 420mm on the front and 390mm on the rear, and the GT3 only has 390 on the front. So these are massive brakes. The problem was, I did find that they sometimes braked a little bit erratic, and I couldn't really figure out what it was, but racing driver Sam were telling me ABS were kicking in, it was panicking, and it was thinking you were over braking and it was trying to lock up, because it generally thought when you were braking that it braked that hard, it was like you slamming your foot to the floor in effect. I spent about 4 months trying to get anyone to do coding on this car. I couldn't find physically anyone who could recommend anyone or do coding on this car to change various things on it. I finally found something online about using a certain dongle, and it allowed me to code the car myself, which was pretty risky because I didn't know what I was doing, and if I did something wrong I could pretty much brick the ECU. But I had no other option. I had to do that. So if you look back on social media, you will see a quick video on there, and there's a very short on YouTube. But what we actually did was, as you'll see now, I actually changed the dash to say GT4. I know it's not a GT4, but obviously we've made this a GT4 replica. It's running a genuine GT4 body kit, for those that don't know. This is running a big hybrid turbo. It's got massive brake upgrade. It's actually got GT4 RS KW suspension on it, which has always been string aligned. It's had the sports cats on it. This has pretty much had everything you can imagine replaced, including me fitting my own chronograph, which I'm going to come to in a minute. It's got the GT4 RS shifter, it's got the carbon steering wheel, we've put magnetic paddle shifters on it. There isn't any aspect to this car really which is standard. The reason we call it Gtemu4, before Chris Slicks and all the other guys and Jamie started building Temu cars, but obviously them being YouTube famous, you get to see them more often. But we called it a Gtemu4 because I got the bonnet from Temu. I then started to get the rear windows from Temu. The wheels are replicas, again. Anytime now I've got a brand new set of, well, I'm not going to say the name, but we've got some custom forged wheels coming for this car that look absolutely insane. They've been taking 60 days to come so far from the supplier. That's another video that I'll put up. But this was basically a replica build on a joke part of, we've built a lot of this from Temu. But when it comes to the actual proper performance parts, like the brakes, the tyres, the turbo, the tuning, the alignment, this has all been done properly. There's no corners cut and massive expense. I think the suspension were about 6 grand alone. But what I've come to is, we said, there's nothing else I can do on this car. I actually bought a GT4 RS rear wing. When it finally came, I didn't like it, so I've kept the GT4 wing on because I think it's actually a bit more subtle and I generally prefer the look of it. But I'm kind of like, where do we go now? What else can I do on it? And I don't want to sell the car because I actually love it to bits. Right, so this is where Gaugefaces actually came in and contacted us, and I didn't even know you could do what they're actually doing, and they're doing a lot of it. And these guys were really, honestly, like, it's very rare us as a business get sponsored by people or have people reaching out to us, and it's happened a lot recently. And I have said thank you to everyone on those other videos on the social media, but it really has happened a lot. So like the Alpha that you see there that's doing the £1,000 mountain run challenge, that's been sponsored by a couple of companies. There's a Mercedes SLK 350 here that's for the 3.5k Nürburgring challenge, which is something else you'll see on another video coming up. And it's really nice to be contacted by people and see what you're actually building. Even though we've been building cars for 25 years and I've had probably 7 or 8 centre page magazine features, people don't realise that because they were before the days of social media. So you, unless you had a magazine or you're 47 like myself, you wouldn't know about the cars that I've built in the past that have been show and award winning. But anyway, Gaugefaces. They came to us and they asked us if we could create a custom set of dials, which is what I've got here. And these look amazing, and I'm going to tell you for why. What they've actually done on the centre gauge is basically put the Nürburgring in the actual background, which I quite like, because this is going to be going to the Nürburgring at some point this year, which we've never done with this particular car. But what they've also done is where it normally would say Porsche or Cayman or GT4, it now says Gtemu4, because that's what we call it. And I think that's a really nice touch. And if we ever do sell this car, which I'm sure will happen at some point, it's kind of branded based on what we've built and called it since we've done it. Now, the other thing that's probably the best touch on this is, on Porsche you have 2 traction lights. It does get confusing. I've shown this to people and they don't understand that there's one above it and one below, but you've got 2 traction lights, and that's to do with the PASM and the Sport Plus and various different modes. But the main traction light is the bottom one, and it says IAD. It's actually got the inspired logo instead of a traction control light or traction control image, and I think that's amazing, and it's absolutely incredible. But what they've also done is given me the rev counter at the side, sorry, the speedometer at the side. Now, in my car, as you'll see now, we've already got very similar coloured dials in this. Somebody upgraded that, even though it were a basic Cayman. That actually came from factory, and someone's already done that. And then again, you'll see with my chrono pack in the middle, that's also very similar colour, but these guys have basically matched all 3 for me to be able to change and completely customise this car. And that's what I'm about to do right now. So once you've actually got the fascia or the clocks back in, they honestly just push in and out. There's 4 holes where you've got torque screws, torque 25s, and you really can't get them wrong. It is really honestly something to not be concerned about, and the difference is dramatic. Now, before you do it, I don't know where I've put my key, but ideally just test them before you do anything. Make sure the power on, make sure all the lights come on, check it to obviously make sure that the rev counter's right. Everything, it's really, really straightforward, and I think it's worth you doing. Now, the way I did the dials, as you saw there on the video, is I actually took a photograph of where the dials were. Now, they do move as you take them in and out. So the idea that I put them is around 3,000 RPM or about 50 miles an hour, and then basically turn the dial slowly to get it to just below the 0 position, and that'll balance it, because that's exactly where it needs to be in order to work right. And that's just a quick tip for me when you actually come into putting the dial part on. That's probably the hardest part of it. The next thing we need to do is fit the chronograph, and if I'm honest, that is definitely going to be the harder part, purely because they have the much smaller little clock hands, and I think they're going to be a little bit trickier to get out safely, and obviously to put back in, just because of the size of them. But if you don't do that, I really don't think you've got an issue doing this. If you want to know exactly where these came from, then I'm going to put a link in the description below, and I'll also be putting it on the next few videos that we actually do, because I'm going to be showing these dials in action. I know it's only a dial, and I know it don't change anything, but visually it looks a lot cooler. I'm really impressed with it, and that's what it's all about. It's about modifying your car to your standards. And the thing is, these guys can literally create anything you want. So what, I kind of bit myself in the bum a bit, because when I actually realised what they could do, I realised I could have had the new GT3 RS style dial in the middle, which is the kind of rounded bordered display, which it looks so good. I don't know if it had suited this, but it certainly is a kind of a new facelift age to look at, and maybe I should have gone with something like that. But the idea with these is it was to advertise that it is a Gtemu4. It's to say it is a rep. We have built it ourselves. I've built a car to my standard for me to do what I wanted it to do, the way I wanted to do it. And I also wanted to prove that I could build a car as good as Porsche do, you know, realistically, which is to build a car that keeps up with a GT4 RS, a car that actually beats a GT4, and we know it beats a GT4. Because again, have a look on the Driven Plus video recently, and you'll see that the latest video that Max and Sam have done is actually with a real GT4 on track. And even though it beat my time slightly, that's because it had launch control. So it had a few features that mine didn't have. It's also got LSD, and it was on Cup 2 tyres, which is a big difference in itself. But what it didn't do, or what they did criticise it for, is the handling. The handling wasn't anywhere near as good as this. It was very light, very unbalanced, and just didn't give the grip that this did. So it'd be nice to get this back on the channel with them and actually put it up against a real GT4 this time. So the guys can actually see how much of an improvement we've done on this car, and actually how well we have really built it, because you can compare it against a genuine one. But if you guys want to know more about these dials, you want to see a little bit more, here's a full video of it. Have a quick look, see what they actually do. Just tell me what you think, and make sure you give the guys a like and a follow on all their social media links. Now, the next collection of videos you're going to see on the YouTube channel, seeing as we've decided we're going to spend a bit of time and actually bring the YouTube channel back, because back in the day it was actually pretty big. It's just social media became so big, we struggled to do both. We've decided we're going to cut social media down a little bit and focus on different things on the YouTube channel. So not necessarily about detailing, but primarily about the builds that we've currently got. And that's because at the minute we've actually got 8 builds on the go, and I'm going to give you a little bit of an insight to all of those builds on individual videos. Now, if you want to see any more on this Gtemu4, and you actually want to know exactly what's gone into the build, what it's about, basic setup, and just an overall of the actual vehicle, that will be on the channel in the next couple of weeks, where we actually go and give you a full breakdown of the car, highlighting everything we've done. Hopefully the new wheels will be here, and we'll be able to actually incorporate that into the video itself. But for now, here's again what the dials look like from Gaugefaces, and I've put a description and a link into every single section of this social media video and YouTube video, so you can actually go and speak to those guys, drop them a like and a follow. And I just want to personally say a massive thank you to a company like that reaching out to us and actually doing this completely free of charge and sponsoring this car, because I know you didn't have to do that, but I know that means a lot to me, and I just want to say thank you for that.